kids, it's a Mist and Fly here, hope you're well, out and about on another sunny day and on another bike review. Bit of a strange sort of review this one, because it's not really a full bike review, it's more of a sort of an interim one, because the bike I'm riding today is the 2017 BMW GS, and the reason why I'm doing this review is because a while back I rode the BMW GS Adventure, the 2017 model, and I really loved that because of it had a lot of improvements on the engine over my GS, a bike obviously that I know very well. I have the 2014 GS, which was kind of an earlier, or 3 earlier incarnations than this. My bike has the water-cooled engine, so it looks superficially the same, but this bike has a number of upgrades in terms of instrumentation, engine internals, gearbox, etc. So a number of you asked me, would I take the 2017 GS over the GSA given it's got the same engine improvements? So stick around and stay tuned. I'm going to try the bike on this review, see if I can answer that question. So the first thing that I noticed about the 2017 bike over my older generation 2014 GS is that the engine does feel a little bit more peppy. It's just got a little bit more go about it. Not hugely so, but as somebody who's obviously very familiar with the GS, it does feel a little bit more lively, this bike, which has got to be a good thing. I'm really pleased to see that BMW have made some improvements to the instrument binnacle on this. One of the complaints that I had on my bike is that it was hard to read the numbers on the speedo. Well, I'm not sure those numbers have been changed very much. They may be marginally larger, or the lines on it slightly bigger, which I guess will help. But here there's some changes on the rev counter. I would have liked to see more changes on the speedo personally, but there we go. At least there are some changes. Maybe the next generation will have some more. It's so nice to be back on a GS. These bikes really are good. It feels so light and flickable. Much more than it should for such a big bike. It's comfortable to ride. The handlebars are nice and wide, so you've got plenty of leverage to turn, and also they just feel comfortable the way you ride it. The seat is sumptuous. You know, all the reasons why I originally bought my GS still stand strong, and I absolutely love the GS, as you know. And this bike is just a little incremental improvement on mine, and that's got to be a good thing. So this has the Gear Shift Assist Pro fitted, as my bike does. But again, this is now mated to a slightly improved gearbox, so just going down the box now, yeah, it feels really quite smooth. The quick shifter on my bike, it works absolutely fine. If the engine's under load and you're going up through the box, it's fine. And again, if you're coming down braking, then again it works fine. But it works better in the higher ranges of the gearbox, beyond sort of 3rd gear. Whereas this one seems to be a little more happy throughout the gearbox. So definite tick there, an improvement on the bike. So let's get to a little bit of faster road and see how the engine feels at sort of motorway speeds. These GSs just handle so wonderfully in the corners. Light and agile, goes where you point it. And the quick shifter just makes for a much more relaxed ride. I mean, really, quick shifters are for race bikes, of course, but there's something to be said for having them on bikes that you go on tour on as well. They just take some of the drama away. So at motorway speeds then, the bike feels absolutely fine. I can't say as I noticed really any difference in the engine at these faster speeds, or you know, getting up to faster speeds. Feels pretty much the same. Just that smoother gearbox, I think, is the thing that appeals. I've just popped her into dynamic mode to see how that feels. Yeah, lovely and smooth coming down the box on the quick shifter. I've been riding a lot of other bikes recently, and kind of makes me forget how good my own bike is. Even through town, these GSs are a joy. The weight is carries so low down that it just feels like a light bike, and it makes through town commuting very doable. Another little change I just noticed on the dash is the indicators now. It's just got the one light flashing. I'm indicating left at the moment, but it's showing both going, whereas on my bike I had an individual arrow for left and right. Small point, but just one of the changes I noticed. just stop in here and quickly show you one of the changes on the bike. So this one actually is fitted with the keyless ride, which I'm always a little bit in two minds about as to whether it's worth having or not. I think probably not, personally. I don't think you know, using a key in ignition is a problem, but I suppose to a degree it makes things easier. Okay, so here she is then, and the just the one big change I wanted to point out on the bike is that they've now blacked the engine out and the swing arm as well. I did hear some reports of the older bikes had some corrosion issues on the engine cases over time. I've not had that problem at all. I think maybe it's down to how you look after the bike, but I wonder whether the black engine casing is anything to do with that. But it looks pretty smart. And this is sort of the generation before the GS Exclusive and Rally, which is the current most up-to-date GS. This is the sort of interim 2017 model, if you like. But I still very much love the GS, and it's a great bike. There are no other cosmetic changes that I've noticed on the machine other than the blacked out engine. Okay, let's ride some more, and then I'll give you my conclusion as to whether I think this or the GSA would be the way to go. Okay, let's get this big beast back to life. Ignition on. We're in neutral. There we go. Alrighty. So then to the key question. Would I personally rather have the 2017 BMW GS or the 2017 BMW GSA that I reviewed a couple of months ago? And I'll stick a link to that video so you can check that out as well. Given all the engine internals and gearbox changes are now the same across both bikes. Well, for me, I personally, and this has surprised me because I love the GSA, I think I would stick with the standard GS personally, because I use the bike for touring and on-road riding. Now, when I say touring, I mean touring in Western Europe. I don't mean touring across Morocco or places where there's no fuel stations. So personally, I don't need the extra fuel capacity that the GSA gives me, and I do like the fact that this is a lighter bike. Not hugely so, we're only talking, you know, 10-15 kilograms, something like that. But this bike is just that little bit easier to manhandle and manoeuvre around. Not hugely so, as I say. But personally, I always take light over heavy when it comes to motorcycles. It just feels a little bit more agile than the GSA, and it's got all those same engine improvements and gearbox improvements, which which struck me as being so good. It's certainly, this bike has certainly come on a long way since the original water-cooled GS, the bike that I own, which I still love, by the way. But they've just done some little tweaks and refinements that now made it an even better bike. So if you're in the market and you've never ridden a GS before, do ride both. Ride the GSA as well as the standard GS, but don't discount the standard GS just because it's not the, in quotes, top of the range. Personally, of all the adventure bikes I've ridden, I still think the GS is at the top of the tree. Okay, I hope you found that of interest. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missing and Flyer. Cheerio.